Yo, what's up? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. On this channel, what we do is we teach real estate investors and entrepreneurs how to create time and freedom through proven real estate investing strategies. So I've been walking you guys through this Brrrr deal that I've done. For those of you who don't know what Brrrr means, it's basically buying a house, you rehab a house, you rent the house, you refinance, and you repeat. 10 to 11 weeks ago, I bought this house. And actually, before I purchased this house, I showed you guys this video that just popped up on the screen where I broke down the numbers on this particular deal and what I expected to happen on this deal. Now, I wasn't necessarily solid on, I wasn't confirmed on what I wanted to do with this particular property, whether I was gonna sell it, so buy it, fix it, and then sell it, or if I was gonna do the Brrrr back then. So in that video, I talked about the Brrrr strategy because that was my ultimate goal, to keep this property. Then I showed you another video. I'm gonna pop that up right here as well so you can check it out. This is kind of like a little video series, but what I did was I showed you guys around the property, and I talked about what we were doing with the property. And then I started thinking about selling the property after doing some market research in this area. So this is the video where I wanted to talk about the completion of this particular job, this particular project rather. And I'm gonna walk through and share the real numbers with you guys. Now, I haven't sold the property yet and I haven't rented it yet. So I do wanna shoot another video as part of this series, and that's gonna be the final video in the series, after I either sell it or rent it, to tell you what the true numbers were and break it all down for you. But today, I'm gonna break down the numbers up to this point, and you guys will get a clear understanding of what I put into this property, what I purchased it for, and what we ended up doing to this property in order to get to this point. So let's jump into this. If you remember in that first video of this series, this Brrrr series, I told you that I bought this property for $75,000. Then I renegotiated the contract because there were some extra things that I found that needed to be done. So we renegotiated the deal down to $73,000. So back on October 15th, 2021, I purchased this deal for $73,000. Now, I borrowed the money from one of my private money lenders who charged me a small fee for the money and an interest rate. So I'm paying about 11% interest on this particular deal. Interest only payments every single month. It comes out to $850 a month. Here's why it's $850 every single month. So, before I even jump into that, just be mindful, I put down $4,000 up front in the form of points to be able to pull out that money. Now, that was expensive money, but I haven't done business with this private money lender for a little while. So I decided to pay the $4,000 and rekindle that relationship, because these guys own a $100 million company and they are willing to do a lot more business with me. So it made sense for me to go out there and invest $4,000 into the deal and then pay the $850 a month for a 6-month loan in this case. So basically, I borrowed $73,000 immediately to purchase this property, plus an additional $12,000. If you remember from that video, I told you my rehab budget was going to be $12,000. So I was going to be all into this deal for $85,000 plus the $4,000 that I put into it, plus my monthly payments. Now, the reason why I was only going to put $12,000 into it, I was going to rent the place. And typically when I rent houses, I like to do it in a way to where I would actually move into the house. So it's actually a really good job. The house didn't need a lot of work. but there's some additional things that we put in to beef up the property value to be able to get the numbers that we're going to talk about in this video. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into these numbers. So I was going to be all into this deal for $85,000. When I got it pre-appraised, meaning I got a future value appraisal before I purchased the property, the appraiser told me if I put 12 to 15,000 into the house, I'll be able to pull out a value of it, a future value of $120,000. Okay. Since then, there's several houses that have sold, and if you're in real estate or if you're brand new to real estate, you kind of know what's going on with the market. Low inventory and a lot of buyers is driving up the price of real estate right now. So literally right here on the next street, a house that's 3 bedroom, 1 bath sold for $162,500. Literally, right? I can look at the house if I look out the back window. This house is a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. All right. Then I did some research on some other properties. I said, okay, if that one got $162,500, and I looked at the amenities and I looked at everything that they've done to the house in order to bring the value up, it's pretty similar to this house. So if you look at that property, I'm gonna link that address in the description box so that you could check that property out for yourself. Look at that property and then look at my property. You'll see that my property is now comparable to that property. It's almost the same house, right? So that's a quick lesson for you. When you're running comparable sales, make sure that you create like and kind properties. Look at what other people are doing. Do something similar to that to be able to get the same type of value on your property as well. Long story short, I saw that property sold for $162,500. So I looked at some 2 bedroom, 1 baths in my area, and I saw that those were ranging between $135,000 and $145,000. So there's 3 things I can actually do with this property. I believe I could get $139,900. I spoke to a realtor the other day. He said that if I listed it with him, he would put it up for $139,900, and he believes it'll be on the market for a couple of days, and I'll be able to get that without a problem. All right, so that's one thing that I can actually do. I could sell this house right now and be able to get $139,900. Now let's talk about what I'm into the property all in at the moment. My initial budget was $85,000. I mentioned that already. What I ended up doing was putting an additional $15,000 out of pocket into the deal in order to beef it up. The reason I put that in is to make the house comparable to the house that sold for $162,500. Okay, so I bought it for $73,000. I'm all into this house after rehab for $100,000 plus the $4,000 that I put in up front, plus we're going on 3 monthly payments. By the time I sell it, I'll probably be all in for 4 monthly payments. So generally, I'll probably be into this property around $108,000, something like that. If I do a refi cash out, which is option number 2 for me, I can get a value of $140,000 on this house right now, and I can pull 80% of that money out, which is $112,000. Okay, so if I decided to stick to the original Brrrr deal that I was going to do, guess what? I can pull all of my money that I have invested into this property, all of the lender's money that's invested into this property, pay the lender back the $85,000, get my $23,000 back, and still pull out an additional $4,000 to $5,000 in tax-free money. Then I could turn around and rent this place for anywhere between $1,000 and $1,200 a month, and that allows me to fall within that 1% range when you're looking at the value of the property to the amount of gross rent that's going to come in. So if I refinance this house at $112,000 and I rented the place for $1,150 a month, I'm now in the 1% range looking at the value of the property versus the amount of rent, and now I'm in a position where I have a good rental property. Okay, the taxes and insurance on this property is going to run about $200 a month. And if I were to refinance this place, I'll probably have a note on it right around $600 a month. So if you do the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, we're gonna be right around $800 a month. If I rent it, I'll make $350 a month in pure profit. That's probably 1.3% DCR on this property, which means it's a good rental property if I decided to go that route. If I decided to sell it, I got to get my 108 back. So the difference between 140 minus the 5% that I'm going to pay a realtor to sell it, if I don't sell it on my own, minus the closing costs, minus the 108 that I have into it, I'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of around $20,000 to $25,000 in pure profit. Now, that doesn't sound like a great deal after 3 months worth of work, but if I wanted to take the $25,000 and do something else with it, I could do that. So that's two options right there. I could flip it and make a pure profit of $25,000, plus get my initial $23,000 that I have into the deal back and pay the lender off. Or I can rent the place, make $4,000 to $5,000 up front, make $350 every single month, and continue to have an additional $30,000+ in equity that's gonna build up over time. I get the tax benefits, I get the cash flow, I get everything that owning a rental property is good for, and I still keep the property long term. Now, and there's a third option that I have as well. My lender is willing to purchase this property from me for whatever a buyer is willing to pay for it. So they contacted me yesterday and said, look, let's play the market. If you get 139, then I'm willing to pay you the 139. And then on top of that, pay you a management fee to manage the property because they're in Utah and I'm here in North Carolina. So they're willing to purchase the property, allow me to take my profit out of it, and pay me a management fee to manage the property for them long term. So that's 3 different strategies that I can implement on this deal. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do as of right now. I plan on putting it on the market this coming Friday just to play the market and see what happens. I also filled out my application with my lender to refinance this property. So I'm gonna look at all of the numbers when they come in, and I promise you guys I'm gonna do another video showing you the finalized numbers on what I decided to do. In the meantime, why don't we look around the property? I did a new roof. All of the windows in this house are brand new. There was only 8, and I did all new windows, new flooring. All of this stuff drove up the price, right? If you remember, I wasn't sure if I was gonna do the roof, but I wanted my house to be comparable to that house over there. So I did the roof, put in the new windows, put in a brand new kitchen, brand new ceramic tile. We put in brand new flooring. I was gonna originally stain the hardwood that's underneath this flooring, but I decided to put down this new flooring. We obviously put fresh paint, new fixtures, new amenities all throughout the place. Let me know in the comment section what you think about how this property came out. Also, let me know what you think about what I should do with the property long term. And I kind of got an idea, but I always want to involve you guys. I feel like we're building a strong community here. I think communication is going to make this a fun situation. So make sure you leave your comments in the comment section. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But I'm excited to hear what you guys got to say about it. I'm going to see you guys in a few weeks to show you the finalized numbers on what I decided to do, whether I'm going to rent it, sell it, or sell it to my lender. One of those 3 options is going to make it profitable either way. And I'm going to see you guys then. Peace.